Hey, what's up guys? Tony here, CCxRC. This one goes out to Rich at 2RC Productions and Josh at Midlife RC. You guys know what this is all about. But we're going to be talking about what's on the bench right here. The Losi mini desert truck that I'm working on for my son. Actually, there's another one right there. So, like I said, my oldest son had one, and the youngest son now wants one, and I had parts. And I started working on it, and I stopped for some reason. Well, I figured out why, and I remembered almost immediately after I stopped the last video. So we're going to open this up, and we're going to do some work on it. Try and patch a few things together, do some cutting and soldering, and we're going to get to it after the break. Alright guys, well I've got everything here laid out on the bench that I have to work with. I'm going to quickly go over what I'm doing and what the problems are. So, we've got the mini desert truck. Like I said, it's a roller with a motor. The rest of the parts don't really work that were in it, so I'm just calling it basically a roller. Shocks and everything seem pretty good. But the problem that I had was the servo is just not working right. So I went and bought another servo, thinking everything would be good and great, and we'd be up and running in no time when I got it. But I forgot what the problem was until I looked at it last night. And the problem is that the ESC receiver combo that was in it, that was this Losi right here, has a 4-pin or 4-wire servo. So you can see on this one, I'll try and make it focus in here. You can count them. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. You've got an orange, white, red, and black. And so that was the one thing that kind of stalled the build, or the second vehicle build that I was working on. So I've got some spare parts here. The other issue is I have another ESC already that takes a 3-pin servo. Problem is, the person that sent it to me had cut off everything and used it probably in other trucks. So I don't have the connectors for the motor, and I don't have a plug on it. But no worries, the plug on this one will come off real easily. That's the one nice thing about Dean's, is the connectors are exposed, so I can cut off the heat shrink that's on there, hit it with the soldering iron, and pull things free and mount that to the new one. However, the motor leads here are not going to be quite so easy. They're really like flat pancake style. I don't know what they call it. But it's wrapped right into these wires and crimped on there good. So I went up to the local hobby shop, Debbie's RC World, and they didn't have anything that I could use, but they just said, you know, cut the wire off and solder it to the connector. So that's what I'm going to give a try. If that doesn't work, I do have some billet connectors here, or bullet connectors, sorry. And these bullet connectors can be soldered on as a last resort. Don't want to do that because I have a spare motor already and it's got the leads, and I don't want to have to do it every time I get a new motor. So I've got an old school soldering iron that I'm using. Got my sponge here already damp and wet so that I can wipe off the solder, my helping hands. And so we're going to go in here and we're going to try and get this thing up and running with the parts that we have here on the bench. I should point out I do also have some extra male Dean's connectors in case I have any issues here. So that's it. That's what we're going to try, and then we'll see if we can get this new high-tech servo moving these tires left and right like they're supposed to do. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and cut these wires off here. Start out with that simple process. And then we'll go ahead and we'll try and salvage what we can of the Dean's plug here by just cutting back this heat shrink, and then we should be able to get those off easy enough. Again, my technique at soldering is not very good, so I do not suggest actually taking any of my advice when it comes to soldering or watching how I do it and thinking that it's the right way, because you will be mistaken, my friend. It's not something that I really ever learned. I didn't take any classes in school that would have taught me how to do this. So there was no like auto mechanic stuff or woodworking or any of that. All right, we're coming upon the moment of truth here. We'll get these onto here, cover this over. Alrighty, so there we go. Motor's connected. We're going to grab our transmitter, turn it on here. This is an old school one. Zoom you back out here. So we've got the old school transmitter, and we just need a battery, which I have over here. And we're going to plug this all in. Turn it on. So we have power, so that's good. Do we have throttle? Ahaha! That part is alive. So, next thing we're going to test, we'll just go ahead and plug this in, the servo, and see if it will come alive. I'm going to go ahead and just switch it off while I plug this in. Power it on again. Looks like everything is working. Yeah, we like that. Alright, so next step is we're going to assemble it all. Put some new tape on here. Put the servo in and see if she drives. Alright guys, it's looking like a truck. I'm excited about this. A pretty easy solution to the problem. So thanks to Brandon up at Debbie's RC World for just telling me, you know what, cut these off and solder it directly onto the metal posts. We're good to go there. Moved over the Dean's connector, got everything installed. Zip tied some of the wires here in the back just to clean them up, keep everything nice. Needed to leave a little slack because this does move. To get your battery in. So I'm going to quickly throw a little bit of a pack through this so that I can make sure that the bugs are worked out before I give it to my son tomorrow for the weekend. Yeah, awesome.